one of the great kind of benefits of working in both worlds, in the world of musical theatre and the world of ballet, is what you can bring from one to the other. You know, I think the theatricality of a musical, the unabashed kind of diving into worlds that emerge from music in a way that is appealing and accessible. So I try to make work that is that could be as appealing to, you know, a musical theatre audience as it is to a ballet audience. And why not? You know, why not be finding ways to kind of bend and reshape our art form in order to reach a wider public. You know, now I have a reputation for making full-length narrative ballets, and so I think the ask is usually, can you make one for us? And in this case, David and I spoke very openly about finding a character, a subject that expressed, you know, a sort of different way of telling stories in ballet, in full-length ballet. We're very used to the kind of heteronormative worlds of Romeo and Juliet and Swan Lake and Sleeping Beauty, and I think we both felt that it was time to maybe explore you know, a same-sex relationship in sort of the grand scale framework of a full-length narrative story ballet. I like to step really far out of my comfort zone when I accept projects, and even when I set tasks for myself. Even Oscar, you know, Oscar is not, there was no story in place. We've built the story ourselves. It's a complex subject matter. He wasn't necessarily a figure that you would look at and associate with dance. So sort of how do we overcome that? So I very much believe in kind of stepping into a place of uncertainty and fear and using that as an energy to then create. I mean, I first grew up in the House of Ashton and Macmillan, and then, you know, spent 7 years dancing for the New York City Ballet and being very much in that environment where both as a choreographer and as a dancer, the attitude was just get on with it, you know, get in there and get on with it. And so often I was in a position where I had to come up with ballets in a very, very short amount of time, and it would terrify me because I am very spontaneous. I live very much in the moment, in every moment. I'm spontaneous in the way that I create. I know what I have to say in each moment. And of course, there's a very clear narrative and musical structure that is wed, but I don't come in with steps. I haven't spent a lot of time doing pre-production on myself or on other dancers. It's very much about me and the dancer in that moment and what we come up with together. Sometimes that's terrifying because there's nothing really to fall back on. But I don't know how else to work. It's the only way I know how to work. I need bodies, I need personalities working with me in the room. There's an enormous amount of talent here in this company, and the company is excellent and on the level of many of the great companies in Europe and in the States. However, I think because of the distance, everyone's just so grateful when you come and you invest and you take time and you want to create. And that makes for a really nice energy in the room because it means people are on board. They don't need much, they just need respect and an understanding of the workload that they have around Oscar, because it would also be very easy to come in and just be like, it's got to be all about me. But I think it's really, there's a really positive energy around the creative process and a patience. And just the feeling of everyone focusing, listening, all eyes on what's being made, that is tied into, I think, that sense of gratitude, and you don't always get that.